Series X logo, some major hacking, and a ton of Nintendo updates. This is GNN. A trademark was found for the Xbox Series X, and it looks like it's the logo. I think the logo overall looks pretty slick. I'm kind of curious if this is exactly what's going to be on the game boxes. If so, I could easily see it on the spine or maybe the top left corner or something like that. It also looks pretty simple. Say you're going to substitute out the X for the S, you could promote that way. Or maybe you could even substitute it out for a cloud logo if you're going to promote xCloud. Overall, it's sweet and simple, and I like it a lot. For our next story, it looks like there's been some serious cases of hacking all over the gaming industry. The first one we're going to cover is Valve. Now, Valve looks like it had the source code for CSGO and TF2 leaked. Now, something like this happened back in 2018, but this one looks to be more substantial. Both brands' official Twitter released pretty much the exact same message, basically saying that there's no reason to be alarmed or to avoid the current build of the game. You can just keep playing as you would normally, and that they'll keep us posted with updates on the ongoing investigation. Moving on, Infinity Ward has also been dealing with hackers in Modern Warfare and in Warzone. On Twitter, Infinity Ward posted a graphic basically saying players who reported cheaters will now get in-game confirmation when an action has been taken, which is big in terms of letting the player know that their report actually did something. And in a pretty funny way of solving this issue, it seems like matchmaking will now match suspected cheaters together in the same lobby, which honestly sounds like a fate worse than death. Moving on to our final hacker news of the day, it looks like there's been a giant breach of Nintendo network IDs. Now, Nintendo confirms around 160,000 accounts were affected by this hacking attempt, with them having access to your private info, but not your credit card information. This has led Nintendo to getting rid of accessing the eShop with your Nintendo network ID, and they urge you to change your password, and they use two-factor authentication for maximum security. Now for our final story, we're going to a segment I like to call Nintendo News Update. You see, Nintendo updated so many games this past week that we just gotta rapid fire through them all, so let's go. So while this isn't necessarily a game, Nintendo updated the eShop. It got a minor update that basically allows you to hover over an icon and auto-scroll through its screenshots. It's mostly a little time saver since the eShop always takes slightly longer than you would think to load. Next up, Mario Maker 2 got its last major update. This includes features like Super Mario Bros. 2 Mario, which allows you to throw and ride enemies, new power-ups, new wearables, all 7 Koopalings, and World Maker, which basically lets you make your own complete 2D Mario game. This is what everybody wanted back when Mario Maker 2 launched, and I'm glad to see it finally come to fruition, and this makes Mario Maker 2 the ultimate Mario Maker. Next on the list, Animal Crossing got a pretty sizable update as well. This update added new island visitors, such as Leaf, who's a merchant who sells plants and trees, Jolly Red, who's a merchant who sells artwork and furniture with a chance for them to be fake, a museum upgrade, and finally, Nature Day, May Day, International Museum Day, and wedding season events. Next, out of all things, Splatoon got an update. A special demo of Splatoon 2 will be available from April 29th to May 6th. You'll be able to play Turf War, Ranked, Salmon Run, and even more. So basically, you'll have full access to the game during this time. As for the big update, the game got a pretty large patch that rebalanced multiple weapons, and it all seems to culminate to one final Splatfest. This being Mayo vs. Catch-Up, which I'm pretty sure was the first Splatfest in Splatoon 2. I don't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure that's right. It's these two condiments in a fight to see who's the best, and it all goes down May 22nd through May 24th. It looks like the Splatfest is going to be a one-off thing, but it's really cool to see the game still being supported. As for games that released this week, we have two big ones, being XCOM Chimera Squad and Trials of Mana Remake. Now, XCOM Chimera Squad looks to be a spin-off of XCOM 2. It looks a little bit buggy, but they mixed up the classic formula by having pre-made characters, no permadeath, and other character changes, but the gameplay is still the same glorious tactical combat we love from XCOM. XCOM Chimera Squad has a 78 on Metacritic and is only $10 as of the recording of this video, so do yourself a favor and check it out. And finally, we get to the Trial of Mana Remake. Now, this classic JRPG has been completely reimagined for modern consoles. This remake is extremely loyal in terms of combat and story, but adds a modern soundtrack, camera, and art style that is just as charming as the 16-bit original. Now, it looks like because this game was adapted from 2D into 3D, the camera seems to be a little wonky at times, but it completely makes up for it with the story, art direction, and combat. Trials of Mana Remake has a 77 on Metacritic and is perfect for that JRPG itch. So that's going to be it for GNN. Now that you guys are caught up, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.